Well, better get the Les Paul ready for its new owner. I'll be using the money to go towards either a Jaguar or a Mustang, so let's see if we can find one. So having looked at some adverts on Kijiji and Marketplace, I actually found a listing in broken English for the guitar we're going to go and pick up now. So obviously it's written. Sometimes it's good to just look up words when you're looking for an item you want on the internet, rather than specific. Like if you're looking for a Fender Stratocaster USA, just type Fender in, and you might find it in the lower listings, especially somewhere like Toronto or London, England or something, because sometimes people don't write the best English and these adverts drop down. And that's exactly what's happened with this advert. It's dropped off the map. I've made a reasonable offer on it, I think, and it's been accepted, so we're going to go and pick it up now. So welcome back to the house, guys. So this is what we picked up today, including this from Yorkville, a guitar stand, a Zoom effects pedal, the G1X ON. You should all know this, DS1 distortion. Like this is brand new. String winder, some strings, several cables, and I need a few of these patch cables, and of course the guitar and the case and a handful of picks that were in the bag. So this is the Duo Sonic Fender, and this is the, you see that, special edition, made in Mexico. Dry fretboard, rusty strings. Give you a close up in a minute. So these strings look like they've been on it from the factory. I don't think they've ever been changed. This is the 2017. The fretboard looks really dry. I don't know if you can see, if it picks up there where the strings were, but I'm pretty sure we can clean that up and make it look good. There's no fret wear whatsoever other than the rusty marks. Basically it's virtually brand new but unused, I think. So we'll come back in a minute and take the strings off, do the fretboard, and also I did actually plug it in previously. Some sort of earth issue on this screw, so I'll have to take a look underneath the fretboard and see what that's all about. Okay, back in a minute. Okay guys, we're on the work couch now, and we'll get these strings off, see what's going on with this guitar. Do this fretboard and sort out the electrics. She's pretty strange really. Just a couple of things about this guitar. It's string through the body, so the strings come out that way and go back in that way. It says special edition, and if you can see that on the headstock there. I don't know what's special about this edition. Maybe the colour, and it's got the skunk stripe on the back with the headstock adjustment in the usual place for these Mexican Fenders. So we'll get these strings off and then we'll come back and have a look at the fretboard. So before we do the fretboard, this is it with the strings off. As you can see, there's all these, looks like it's been aged already. I'm going to pull this, just get the camera right. I'm going to pull this board off the scratch plate and have a look at this screw here. Something feels loose in there. So I'll pull all these screws out and then have a look inside. So that's all the screws out, and then we should be able to lift the body, the plate off. And there we go. Bridge pickup, neck pickup, just feels pretty solid, but there is some sort of earth. There is an earth issue here with this one, so you can work out which one it is again. Yeah, it's this one here. What I might do is use some let's got a plate on there. I might just use some aluminium tape just to see if we can fix this issue quickly without too much kerfuffle. Looks like the these are routed for a humbucker in the back, but not as wide at the front. I'll just measure that. For people who want to know, the front one is 1.5 inches and the rear one is 1 3/4 inches. So I think you could probably get a humbucker in the rear. Ah, what's this? I wonder. Is that supposed to be earthed? I won't be surprised if that's supposed to be earthed and hasn't been earthed. Aha! So we've taken the saddles off and revealed the hole for the earthing wire, and what I believe is supposed to happen here is this wire that just pulled out loose is most likely supposed to go, you can see it, into this hole and lay on the, oh, doggy time. I'm guessing in there it's supposed to lay on there, and then when you bolt this down it stays fixed and earthed to the plate. So I'll have to re-intonate, although the intonation was out anyway, I'll have to re-intonate the guitar and build it back up again, but that just slipped out too easily. There's no way that was clamped down on underneath there. Okay, so that's roughly where it needs to go. I could even maybe just drop it in one of these holes just to make sure it's properly earthed. Then what I'll do is I'll put some shielding on here as well, I think. Oh well, dog's calling. I'll be back in a minute. Well, we're back now. So what I've decided to do while I was away was to, looking at the little routing here and the surface, is solder this to the bottom of the bridge. I know it's probably just meant to be laid along there, but I feel a solder joint would be a little bit more permanent. Suppose we can just get it right above the hole there. So let's see how that works. So before I solder the wire onto the back of the bridge, I'm going to shield, well, not shield as much as earth the screw on the pickup to the three-way switch. So that should help with some of the clicking. You run that one across to the next. No, I'll use a fresh piece for that. So that's the pick guard taped up. Hopefully that helps with the static and the earthing issue I was getting. So we've tinned the wire, so now we'll push the wire through and solder it on. So that's got the wire. With the bridge back on now, that wire is pretty firm. It's flush to the body. It's right over the little insert that I had. I don't think Fender soldered them on, but I know they get harms to make sure it stays there. So now I can slot the pick guard back on, and then hopefully no wires in the way, and then screw it back down and go from there.